the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you back controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
You know, people complain about young black male unemployment, so then that leads people in to incarcerate them. You end up with black men being warehoused because black people pose the greatest genetic threat.
of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republicans. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you back controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. You know what time it is. Welcome to Sucka-Free Saturday. I am glad to see all of you. Thank you, everybody, for waiting. I wanted to extend the beginning time a little bit out today to give people time to show up, because I recognize it's Saturday, and hopefully y'all having a great, lazy day, able to chill out, relax, recharge, get your batteries up. Before we get started, as per usual, fam, make sure to smash the thumbs, either the like or the hater button. Makes me know never mind, right? Make sure you share this on your social media, and if you haven't done so, click that little join button down at the bottom and consider becoming a supporting member of the channel, right? I understand my audience, so it's no pressure there, fam, but if you can call it, every little bit helps. It's definitely appreciated, right? So before we get into it today, let me go ahead and shout out Black Man 903. He was the first one in the chat. What it do, fam? What it do? Sister Tiffany is in the house. The Cool Man is in the house. 2008 B. Scott is in the house. And I'm certain there's more of you here. You know what I'm saying? Pop your names in the chat and I'll be sure to shout you out. Today is going to be kind of like an open forum, open broadcast. I know that a lot of people wanted to call in the last broadcast I did. I didn't get a chance to do so. So I wanted to make that opportunity available for people to call in and discuss the topics that are near and dear to their hearts, that are on their mind right now. There's a lot of shit going on. Charles 91771, what's good, fam? I see you. Adrik is in the house. Peace, fam. Sister Taj is in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. But while we wait for calls to come in, by the way, numbers up on the screen, 360-602-2667. First come, first serve. It's not no holds, no conference line. I take one call at a time. So, but while we wait for the calls to come in, I was wanting to talk about a subject that a lot of people amongst our tribe, I don't think, realize, right? There's been a lot of us who've been vote shamed and told that essentially we're empowering Donald Trump simply by choosing to have the temerity, right, the guts, the unmitigated gall to ask for something in return for our damn votes. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that this whole idea of getting Donald Trump out of office, fixing all the problems that America is facing right now, is a non-starter from words say go. For those of you who have been involved with politics, who have kept track, so to speak, of all the different tallies that we need to keep track of, know that during the debates, Donald Trump told Jim Crow Joe Biden, he said, I ran because of you. And that got glossed over in the media. Matter of fact, it was hardly anybody talking about it. But the truth of the matter is that Jim Crow Joe Biden, Barack Obama, right, all these other folk are the direct reason why Trump was elected in 2016. They set up the framework, right? The systems that Donald Trump is only now taking advantage of. I'll give you a case in point, fam. Everybody's talking about Donald Trump putting kids into cages and separating them from their families and shit like that, right? These illegal immigrants that come here to this country. Without at all acknowledging the fact that those cages were actually built under the Barack Obama administration. Barack Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any other president in the history of the United States, bar none. Like, there was nobody before him that deported more folk. Those kids in cages separated from their families was all started under the Barack Obama administration. That's right, Sister Taj. Barack Obama's administration not only built those cages, but deported hundreds of thousands of motherfuckers. I'm talking a ton. Barack Obama deported almost 1 million people. It was like 700,000. It was a ridiculous number, right? Compared to Donald Trump, I mean. I don't think deporting any illegals is a ridiculous number, but you want to talk about who deported more, it was Barack Obama. Matter of fact, Trump has only been able to deport roughly around 200,000 or so illegal immigrants. As much as he's wanted to, as much as he said he wanted to. Why is that? I'll tell you why that is, fam. By the way, Sister Alma is in the house. Love you, sis. Welcome to the broadcast. Because local jurisdictions that used to cooperate with the Obama administration and ICE stopped cooperating with Donald Trump. That's right. You in Cali and New York, Atlanta, and so on and so forth, ICE, all they had to do to get their hands on a potential deportee was just sit at the local jails and just wait on them people to get out. That was it. And under the Barack Obama administration, they were perfectly comfortable with doing that. But when Donald Trump's administration came to the fore, the local jurisdictions stopped cooperating. We saw even more sanctuary cities spring up out of nowhere. Various jurisdictions passing laws that treat illegal immigrants better than they treat Black American citizens. A cop can roll up on your man Mark Black and demand my ID and know where I'm coming from and where I'm from and so on and so forth. By the way, shout out to my beloved sister Strong Flower. I see you. Welcome to the broadcast. But they can't ask an illegal immigrant where they from, ask them what they own. These local jurisdictions gave more ability to harass Black folk than they do illegal immigrants. What up, Lionel? I see you. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. Those kids in cages started under Barack Obama. Everybody talks about Donald Trump inherited a growing economy from the Barack Obama administration, while continuing to gloss over the fact that Black people, us, the descendants of the enslaved in the United States, didn't return to anywhere near pre-recession levels of prosperity until about 2016. Everybody else in this country, for the most part, got a chance to recover, a breathing space, a place to come back up to except us. And we not only started to come back up, but started to show more representation in the job market and stuff like that. That was under the Trump administration, not the Barack Obama administration. Barack Obama and Jim Crow Joe Biden are the reason that we have Donald Trump. My beloved sister, Miss Kwame, I see you, fam. Peace to you, sis. Welcome to the broadcast. Trump didn't lie. All these people that are sitting here trying to shame you and I into voting for a bastard who for 47 years of government shown us clearly that he's not only antithetical to our interests, but is a goddamn threat to any black lives placed in his hands. That we're supposed to vote for him, while completely just ignoring the fact that the only reason we have Donald Trump is because of the excesses, the corruption, the denigration that began under Barack Obama and Joe Biden's administration. But I don't forgive and I don't fucking forget. I'm not gonna let the pale stream media gloss that over like that didn't happen. Like we didn't suffer under 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama. Like my people barely fucking recovered just when Trump came into office. I'm not gonna sit there and let them blame black men when Latinos have openly stated that they're gonna vote some for Biden, some for Trump. White women doing that pearl clutching bullshit they usually do, but in the heat of the motherfucking ballot box or in the comfort of their own home in the era of the Rona, they could sit there and vote for Donald Trump again like they did in 2016. I'm not gonna let them make us the motherfucking scapegoat for a bastard we didn't choose. Black people didn't vote in any great numbers for Donald Trump. Don't let anybody tell you anything that was the case. They interviewed a few folk, and some men voted for Donald Trump, and some sisters voted for Donald Trump. But nothing on the levels that we all ended up voting for sniper fire, for Hillary Clinton, for super predator Clinton. White women voted 53% of those asked in these exit polls responded that they voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump won white men. Donald Trump won Latinos for the most part. But black people are the scapegoats. Meanwhile, all these vile betrayers of the Democratic Party, all these people that had the unmitigated gall to vote for Donald Trump are being promised legislation, some from day one of a Biden administration. It's kind of a lesson in that, don't you think, family? Kind of a bit of a lesson in that, right? All these people that have no problem with telling the Democrats to kiss their motherfucking ass can expect legislation, can expect specific movement, can expect specific tangible policy directed toward them. The one ethnic demo in this country that has been the most loyal, the one that they have been consistently able to count on, is the one that's told to shut up and vote. Y'all ain't figured the lesson out yet? Y'all ain't figured that instead of them telling us to kiss their ass, that we give them our ass to kiss? The only way that these motherfuckers will ever consider us, again, a viable demo to pursue is if we run away. You can't pursue somebody that's standing right next to you. You don't have to pursue somebody who's there looking for an opportunity to lick your boots and kiss your ass, like a lot of these motherfucking academics and black blue checks and so on and so forth, these black gatekeepers. The Democrats will never pursue us if we don't leave, if we don't leave them alone. B. Scott said the new dreamers better dream on if they think they'll help me to get Biden in office. Facts. And CE is right. CE is right. But to be fair, CE, I have been discussing this long before the goddamn primaries for the Dems was ever even over. But we got sold out by black gatekeepers like Catfish Clyburn. Jim Crow Joe Biden was sunk. You understand me, family? He ain't win shit during this primary. Until Catfish Clyburn sheepdogged South Carolina underneath Biden's belt, giving him wings, giving him some basis to be able to claim that he's got a shot at this shit. What up, Darker Visions? I see you, fam. Welcome to the broadcast. And yeah, CE, we've been discussing this shit forever. Every 4 years, somebody comes along like it's a new epiphany and realized that, hey, the Democrats is giving us the shaft yet again. And every 4 years, we let the sheepdogs, the gatekeepers, the butter biscuit chasers, the bootlicks dictate to us who's supposed to be our best interests, when none of these motherfuckers are. By the way, shout out to my beloved sister Kimberly. Welcome to the broadcast, sister. And namaste, John. I see you, fam. Welcome to the broadcast. Kimberly's right. From moving forward, from 2020 forward, there's going to have to be a concerted effort to make clear that unless justice for our people is on the top of the menu on day one, they ain't got a hope of hell of getting our vote. And not just at the top of the ticket. Because baby Democrats grow up to be big Democrats. Do you all think that we would be stuck with Chameleon Harris if her career had been strangled in the cradle in California? This woman's sole claim to any office has been who she's tied to, who she's connected to, who she's engaging with. Shout out to Willie Brown. That's it. She has no principles, no policies. She will shift to be everything to everybody, meaning that she's nothing to nobody. And now she's fucking VP. As if that isn't a spit in the face of every thinking black person out here. Everything about the Democrats, fam, since 2016 was utter denigration and disrespect to us as a people. Every single thing. Bill Clinton up there arguing with Black Lives Matter protesters trying to shout them down when he know that his fucking lousy policies ruined entire communities. You got black ball jugglers, Johnson washers, sitting there trying to dictate to us what's official nigga policy when it comes to politics, instead of advocating for what is due us. The whole damn thing for the last 4 years has been nothing but disrespect. But now they want to talk about the vulnerable black men. After decades of it's not even benign neglect, malignant neglect by the Democratic polity and the powers that be under the Democratic Party. Decades of malign neglect. They want to sit here and nitpick at black men because some black men said, you know what? I've only had to deal with Trump for about 4 years and he ain't really come that hard in on the paint on me. But y'all put Joe Biden, you put Hillary Clinton in front of me, and you expect me to expend my time, my efforts, my energy to vote for them motherfuckers? Really? I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Any black men, fuck that. Because I don't believe in this damn gender war bullshit. Any black American, any member of our tribe that looks at Donald Trump and sees at least some of their interest with Donald Trump is vastly more honest politically than anybody that looks at Jim Crow Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and claims to see their interests with them. Vastly more honest. That's a brother or a sister I can't really find a way to shame. The problem with Donald Trump isn't that he's so bigoted to niggas. We knew that. Donald Trump is a white man in America. Of course he's racist. Like, that shit goes without saying. We knew that. There has not been a president in all 45 of them who was not a racist son of a bitch. Not a one. We knew that. The problem with Donald Trump is that Donald Trump got the whole world, the whole nation feeling like a bunch of niggas. You know, as black folk, by the way, shout out to AB Media, shout out to my beloved sister Sherry, and shout out to Commander Gore. Let us take a look at this briefly. What does it mean to be a member of the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States of America? It means essentially to lack any real agency or power. It means that choices are made for you. It means that you have to get in where you fit in. It means that a simple mistake could be the end of everything for you. Donald Trump is niggifying the whole damn country. He don't give a fuck about you being a liberal and how much you just love everybody and want to see the whole world be kumbaya. He don't give a fuck about none of that. You don't have no agency under a Trump administration, even if you white folk. Trump do what the fuck he feel like. And he don't care who it hurts or who it offends, who it helps. Trump don't let you say the quiet part in your heart. Trump say the quiet part out loud. All these white liberals are doing all this goddamn shaming and all this and that and the third for one reason and one reason only. Because Trump is them. Trump is them. See, the fucked up part about the whole Trump-Biden thing is that black folk been knowing who both of these motherfuckers are. We knew who Trump was. We knew who Biden is. America is finally being shown who they are. We already knew what America was about. We knew that these white motherfuckers love to smile in our face while stabbing us in the back, telling us that everybody got equal opportunity while setting up the systems, institutions, methodologies, pedagogy, and all that stuff to ensure that that's not the case. We already knew that shit. But Donald Trump is showing them who they are. He's pulling the veil off and saying, nah, I'm the least racist of anybody here. Donald Trump said in the damn debate, I'm the least racist. Because he knows he's racist. But he's been the least racist so far out of all these motherfuckers. Because everybody in America gets to smoke under a Trump administration. He don't give a fuck. He's an equal opportunity fucker. Everybody can get that smoke under a Trump administration. Ain't nobody sacrosanct. There are no sacred cows. And these white liberals is feeling some kind of way about it. The jig is up. They cover blown. Trump don't let them get to hide behind bullshit ass pseudo academic rhetoric like BIPOC, like people of color, like diversity, like minorities. Trump don't let them claim to be not racist. Trump says, I'm the least racist. Because all the rest of you motherfuckers is racist too. Why you think I'm here? I'm here because of you, Joe. No truer words spoken during that debate. Y'all want to blame me? I'm here because of you, Joe. I'm here because of you, white liberals. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. The shadow knows. That's why they hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump has pulled the motherfucking covers right off of America's naked ass. All of them motherfuckers been foul. Trump just ain't letting them hide it no more. Which is why Biden and Harris is such a threat to black folk. Because under a new Biden-Harris administration, all those liberals go right back the fuck to sleep, fam. They go back to brunching. That was hard work. We finally got Orange Man out. Let's go grab some brunch. And you and I, who still have a justice claim to fight for, will be the only motherfuckers fighting Jim Crow Joe. The only ones. Because white progressives got all the ideas and ain't got no motherfucking heart. They threw their whole bunch of eggs in the basket of, thank you, Sister Sherry, I appreciate the love. They threw all their eggs in a Sanders basket. And Sanders is as Sanders does. And what is it that Bernard Sanders does better than anybody in the Democratic Party, fam? Bernard Sanders is the best sheepdog the Democratic Party has ever seen. Bernard Sanders talk all that shit. Talk all that shit. Get you all hyped up, riled up. Yeah, $15 an hour. Medicare for all, yeah. And as soon as anything with a bigger D at the end of his name blows they hot breath on his ass, he flinches like a little girl and says, okay, y'all come for whoever it is that gets the nomination. Bernard Sanders sold them motherfuckers out like they was up on an auction block. And he didn't even get nothing for it. That's the crazy part. How you walk into the motherfucking convention holding over 1,000 delegates and you don't get Jim Crow Joe Biden to basically give you, to write your, what I'm saying? You don't go in there writing your own check. Make that shit make sense. You come in there with over 1,000 goddamn delegates and you don't ask for nothing? You don't ask for shit? Bernie Sanders is as bitch made as it comes. He sat up there in 2016 and the 2016 election stumping for Hillary Clinton. Afterwards, she get on Netflix talking about Bernie Sanders is a joke. Nobody likes to work with him. We hate him. And he talking about my friends in the Democratic Party. Nigga, you ain't got no friends. You's a bitch. You don't have no friends. Bernard Sanders does a rally now, and he'll be lucky if 6 motherfuckers show up. Them little young progressive kids, the little ones that claim they better than the white liberals that run the Democratic Party, they like, man, fuck this shit. We ain't voting for nobody. Big Unc, I see you, fam. Welcome to the broadcast. Bernard Sanders sheepdog the shit out of these motherfuckers. Wait a minute, fam. You want to hear something even crazier? Biden's already made clear what his legislative agenda is for the first 100 days of his administration, should he get elected. Bernard Sanders is reduced to having 100 days of his own, where he's going to push the Biden administration to do all of this and all of that and all of this and all of that. And who going to co-sign you? What votes you going to get? What votes are you going to get? Who's going to break ranks with the Democratic, National Committee, with Pelosi and Schumer and Alia for you? They wouldn't even break ranks to back you before you ran for president. Bernard? Nobody jumped up and said, oh, wait. I think Bernard has the right of it, you guys. Fuck this corporatist shit and getting money, all this dark money from these, PACs and shit like that. We need to put up legislation that's about the people, said no Democrat ever. They wouldn't even back Bernard Sanders when he wasn't running for president. But in Biden's first 100 days, Bernard Sanders is going to be standing up there preaching, and ain't nobody going to be listening. What an ignominious end to a career, fam. And I personally don't think it could have happened to a better person. Because Bernard Sanders can't even say black without wincing. Like it hurts. When asked to put our issues up at the forefront of his revolution in Washington, he acted like we didn't know what we was talking about. We asked Bernard Sanders about reparations. He goes, well, what does that mean? What are you talking about? That's too big of a word for you niggers to be knowing. Meanwhile, we had the Branch Bernidians running around talking about, well, he marched with Martin Luther King. Yeah. And that was the last time Bernard Sanders said black without flinching. Was when he was 23 and got arrested for niggas. He was like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm cool. It's time to make the rhetoric about all Americans. Can't be going to jail over these niggers. No way. Bernard been a shield. Bernard been a shield. But more importantly, Bernard is a sheepdog. Bernard Sanders is there for one reason and one reason only at this point. Because the people in Vermont still seem to think he's all right. That's number one. And number two, nobody can move people into the Democratic Party, usually, like Bernie Sanders could. Yep. That motherfucker's out there playing Lassie, fam. Meanwhile, all that energy he gathered up, that storm of positive energy he gathered up for actual transformational change, he completely squandered that shit. And I have no doubt that progressives are going to make the Democrats pay for that shit. While I think that it's possible at this point that Joe Biden wins, as a matter of fact, I'm not even comfortable making a prediction at this point because it's too close for me to call, to be honest. And no, I don't think it's bad for anybody to hope that Trump wins. Van Jones stay on some fuckboy shit. Don't nobody care what he talking about. Bernard Sanders been done walked folks off a cliff. The only ones he got left, the only hardcore Branch Bernidians he got left are the people that won't see straight. That are just diehard Bernard Sanders partisans. Everybody else see the writing on the motherfucking wall. They understand that the Democrats didn't, won't, and can't ever give a fuck about them. My damn lamp went out. Who cares? Let's keep riding. And actually, Big Unc hit it on the barrelhead. All that energy that was poised to change the Democratic Party from this wholly owned subsidiary of kleptocrats, oligarchs, and plutarchs to something that might actually be able to be used to benefit the people. He took all the wind out of their sails because, again, a lot of these white progressives is all plans, but no spine, no guts. Because truth be told, fam, ADOS advocates and agitators have been banging just as hard with so-called leftists and socialists as they have been with Democrats and Republicans. Because strangely enough, these poor, dumb sons of bitches can't see that in the absence of racial justice, you calling to institute socialism just bakes in forever the inequality that exists. You don't bring the descendants of the enslaved up to where they belong before you institute a so-called socialist scheme anywhere in America, and you simply lock in the injustice under the auspices of equality. Because what these leftists, these progressives, these soft, weak-willed bastards, what they don't understand is this. We, the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States, ADOS, FBA, whatever acronym you decide to use, we, the tribe, who was born in the killing fields of slavery, we don't want equality. Yeah, I fucking said it. We don't want equality. We want parity. Well, wait a minute, Brother Black. What the fuck is the difference? Let me give you an example to understand what it is that I mean, my fellow black sheep. Right? I'll give you a visual example. Let's say that you got 3 kids trying to look over the fence at a baseball game. All right? One kid's a big ass kid. One kid's kind of average. And then you got the little short, stumpy kid, right? The little midget. Equality is giving them all the same size box to look over the fence. So the tall kid with that box will be seeing the whole damn game. The middle kid might get to see glimpses of it. But the short kid may still not be able to see up over the fence. So how do you address this situation? Well, it's very fucking simple, you imbeciles. You leftist, socialist, communist imbeciles. We don't go for equality. We go for parity first. You may not need to give that tall kid a box at all. The middle kid might only need a small box. And the little short stubby kid will need a goddamn tall box to be able to watch the game. Our people have been the little short stubby kid in America for the whole of the founding, since the founding of the Republic. And for years, 80 years before America was America, we've been the short stubby kid. I don't want fucking equality. I want parity. I want my big box. If we gonna watch this motherfucking game being played, I want my big box. I want what the fuck you owe me. Then, after I got my big box, if you want to talk about knocking down the fence so that we can all watch the game for free, I'm with it. Thank you, HP. I appreciate you, fam. But you ain't saying shit to me until you give me my motherfucking box. As long as that fence is still up there, I want my goddamn box. You made me into a midget. You made my people a contagion for anything good, enjoyable, pleasurable, wealthy, happy in this goddamn country. You made it allergic to us. You're not going to then just wash it all away and say, okay, everybody gets the same size box. We all equal. Fuck you. You're not going to act like that all these years since 1619 in this damn country that we weren't made the lowest of the low, the bottom caste, the one that everybody builds off of and feeds off of and gets fed the least for your vaunted equality and socialism. I'll be good goddamned. I will never tell my people to espouse no shit like that. I don't care how good your motherfucking ideas are. Medicare for all? Cool. Do us first. Free education? Great idea. Do us first. Adequate resources and good paying jobs and living wages? I'm with that. Do us first. You couldn't get Bernard Sanders to cop to that. You couldn't get the Branch Bernidians to cop to that. They thought they would just wave a magical motherfucking wand and we would all be equal, running down the street butt naked, singing Kumbaya and eating jelly beans. Fuck I look like. No. You got a debt to pay first. You know, fam, if you a member of our tribe, America a lot of the time looks like a motherfucker that owe you money but going out and buying new shit. Right? Fam, you ever notice that? If you a member of the tribe, if you one of our people, don't a lot of the time America look like to you a motherfucker that owe you money but out there buying new shit? And you looking at them like, fuck is my money at? Nigga, you delinquent. Can I get those ends? Everybody want all this new shit. They want all these new programs and all this new aid and all this new assistance. And we looking at them like, wait a minute. Motherfuckers, we still here. They trying to make everything the new black without addressing the old black. Gay is the new black. No, gay is gay. Black is still black. The hell we look like? Please. Socialism my motherfucking ass. If socialism mean that everybody gonna get a come up while still standing on my people's chest to where we can't breathe, you'll never get me to cop for that. I'd rather let the oligarchs eat you. That's why I don't have no problem with anybody who hope Trump win. I really don't. I have zero problem with it. Because it's either going to be justice for us or socializing the motherfucking failure for everybody. The niggerification of America proceeds apace. If I gotta be a nigga, we all gonna be niggas. You don't do justice by me and mine, justice for nobody. We don't have access to resources, let it all burn. We don't have access to the opportunities needed to protect and defend ourselves. Nobody deserves protection. Nobody deserves safety. Nobody deserves a moment of motherfucking rest. If there is gotta be niggas in this country, we are all gonna be niggas. And Donald Trump is just that nigga to make everybody else niggas. That's real talk. That's why they hate him. Because he don't let them hide. Under a Trump administration, everybody lack agency. Under a Trump administration, everybody got to fall in fucking line. Under a Trump administration, everybody gets it. And in this country, liberals are used to making niggas. Liberals are used to minting niggas. You understand that? They mad at Trump because Trump is co-opting, is preempting their prerogative. Trump is making the whole nation into niggas, and liberal whites just want to keep us as niggas. And they think they fooling somebody. They think we don't know. That's the crazy part about it. These motherfuckers are sitting here on the Pale Street media with their little bootlicks, their little butter biscuit chasers, acting like the people on the streets, you know, the grassroots, you know, the average everyday member of our tribe don't have eyes to see and ears to hear and a brain to understand. They mad at Trump because Trump makes them feel like niggas. When they talk about Trump's racism, fam, you got to understand that your average white liberal ain't really mad about Trump being racist. They're not really that upset about it. They're not upset about it at all. When they say Trump is being racist, they're saying that Trump makes them feel like niggas. Because black people already knew Trump was racist. We already knew he would. Listen, Trump's a white man in America and a rich white man to boot. If you thought for any reason that Donald Trump wasn't racist, you got bigger problems than your man Mark Black can help you with. I'm just keeping it a buck. Was there any time anywhere in the history of America that would lend you credence to the idea that Trump somehow was not a racist? Of course he is. But so was Barack Obama. So was George Walker Bush. So was Bill Clinton. So was Herbert Walker Bush. So was Reagan. So was Carter. So was Ford. So was Nixon. I can keep going. Black people already knew what it was. Why y'all gassing these blue checks, these bootlicks, these gatekeepers up? Why you making them think that they somehow prophets? Y'all knew what it was. You knew in 2016, fam, if you were being honest with yourself. Thank you, Jay Jermaine. I appreciate the love, fam. Y'all all knew in 2016 that there was literally zero choice between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump when it came to racism. You already knew. You knew Hillary was a racist motherfucker and you knew Donald Trump was a racist motherfucker. These bootlicks ain't telling you nothing new. They're not prophets. So Trump's racism can't be the reason why we disregard him. Because if we disregarded any racist holder of any office, black people could never vote for anybody. If we're not supposed to vote for, lend political power to, have negotiations with racists, you couldn't negotiate with any politician. They all racist. So that means if you have to discount the whole fact that they white in America and thus they're racist, what else does that leave you? Well, in 2016, Trump didn't have no record. He wasn't a politician. Now in 2020, you have some things to judge him on. I personally have judged him on the handling of the coronavirus, and I don't fuck with Trump. My choice. As a voter, as a free fucking citizen. I don't like the way he's handled the Rona. And another couple of brothers, couple of our tribe's people today tell me they family infected with the coronavirus and in the hospital. Fuck Donald Trump for that. But I'll be damned if I go off on Donald Trump because he racist. Fuck I look like. All these motherfuckers is racist. Even the black ones. Especially the black politicians. Because you can't be a Republican or a Democrat without espousing white supremacy. So even if you as black as the ace of motherfucking spades, if you claim to be a Democrat, your ass racist. Facts, Alma. Trump had history bribing elected officials. I guess that is political experience. Let me go back to this chat because y'all are getting it in. Yeah, Sister Sherry, did you see that bitch who talked about Donald Trump saying Donald Trump talking about coyotes is bringing migrant children into America? How a whole coyote gonna bring a human into America? Hashtag stop talking. And I was just, when I read that shit, fam, I was just like, wait, bitch, you actually thought that he was talking about like Wile E. Coyote? Like real, the little dog-like creature bringing kids up from Mexico into the country? If it wouldn't have get my Twitter account banned, I would have told that bitch to kill herself. Real talk, fam. Education failed some of these niggas out here. I'm just saying. And she's a corporate attorney, a Georgia State House member, head of like some Georgia Democrat caucus or whatever. I'm just looking at like, for real? Bitch, is you out of your mind? Thank you, Sister Sherry. The jokes write theyself. Like, this is a great fucking time to be a comedian. Because the jokes write themselves. She thought literally that Trump was talking about the literal coyote. And she's who we supposed to be taking political advice from, right? She's supposed to be representative of this upwardly mobile new black Negro that's a part of the Democratic Party. And this bitch got a vote. It's almost enough to make you argue for dictatorship. Some of these motherfuckers don't deserve a vote. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious, man. Some motherfuckers don't deserve to have social media. She's remedial. She's absolutely remedial. A legit dog-like creature is leading little Latin kids across the border. I can't. This has been a hell of a week. Seriously. It's a whole lot. Hey, AJ, I see you, fam. By the way, shout out to Sister Jacqueline. Lionel, fam, I'm telling you. This shit was ridiculous, fam. There's some things you read and you just go. Like your brain cells skip a beat for a second. That you know, if you had like an output meter on your forehead, it would say do not compute. That was what it was like reading that dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? All these bootlicks blaming black men, Jason Johnson's coon ass, talking about black men and their allure for Trump and this, that, and the third. Like, fam, you gotta understand that there's a lot of these bootlicks that, should we ever get our due, are gonna have to get them. They're gonna have to get them some real jobs. Jason Johnson gonna have to get a real job. You know, shoveling something or hammering something. Ain't nobody gonna let his ass talk no more. Van Jones, Mark Lamont Hill, Michael Eric Dyson, Cornel West. Don't get me started on the females. Joy Ann Lomina Reed. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Seals, Brittany Cooper. All these motherfuckers are gonna have to actually find some real goddamn jobs. Joy Reid is a goddamn joke. Roly Poly is a joke. But they keep getting bigged up. They keep getting beat up by black folk who don't understand that going forward, this whole individualist shit, when it comes to politics, economics, and everything else, ain't gonna fly. You either are gonna be with the tribe or you're going to be with them. And if you're with them, you are our open, avowed enemies. Whatever happens to you, happens to you. There was a young brother in Waukegan, Illinois, got shot by a cop. Him and his girl. His girl survived. Young man's dead. No disrespect to him. I hope that he rests well with our ancestors. But before I flashed about it and sighed and said some shit, I actually took some good advice. And I paused for a minute. I wasn't even going to mention it. I was just going to wait and see what happens. I watched the presser with this dude's grandma and his mother talking about they forgive the police officer. Oh, well, our work is done here. People gonna realize one way or the other one that it's the tribe's way or the highway. You either are gonna be about the benefit, the collective benefit of all of us, or you don't get to fuck with none of us. And don't expect us to come running to your aid. Straight up. They said, I forgive the officer because that's what God want me to do. Okay, cool. Well, don't let me have you disobeying God. Good luck. I'm not going to tell my people to put their ass out there flapping in the wind and you and God already got this covered. We straight. Good luck with that. She don't see no problem. I don't see no problem neither. These bootlegs don't understand the problem that the Democrats are to us. Then fuck them. Whatever happened to them, happened to them. I don't give a fuck about Roly-Poly Martin being kicked off of CNN or anything else. He did that. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Either Crump or Merritt is circling like sharks right now. I'm certain one or both or somebody's on the scene. I have no doubt. I'm telling you, B. Scott, it was painful. The stupid burned. It burned bad. Like, I had a headache. I was like, no. Because, see, fam, I have this issue. My fellow black sheep already know what my ailment is. It's a progressive ailment, and there's no cure for it. And I've tried to have it addressed. But I have this issue, this ailment, that causes me to have a deep-seated need for shit to make sense. I know, right? I've been looking for a cure. I've been looking for some means by which to be able to just look at dumb shit and be like, okay. I can't do it. It's a malady. And when I read that shit, I was just like, ugh? Like, what? Like, bitch, who raised you? Seriously, Amanda Seals up there talking about, I thought I was a part of a community. And she named off all these bootlicks and buck dancers and butter biscuit chasers. I was like, well, shit, there's your problem right there. You thinking that you being with them is a part of being a part of the black community. That right there is your problem. You know, here's the crazy part, fam. People like Amanda Seals will have these momentary epiphanies where they realize that, damn, all these motherfuckers that I think I love, they hate me. But there's one thing, fam, that you will never, ever, ever see the boule, the butter biscuit chasing class, the buffer class, the bootlicks, the sambos, the buck dancers. The one thing you'll never, ever, ever hear them ask, one simple question: is it me? You would think, fam, if every member of your tribe, for the most part, that gets to know you, doesn't want to have shit to do with you, just basic observation and general introspection would at some point lead you to ask the question, is it me? Is it something I'm doing? But if they do that, then they would understand that they have a whole host of crimes against the tribe they have to answer for. And they don't want to be accountable for shit. They want all the benefits, but have none of the responsibilities. They want to be able to say anything, do anything under the cover of their white owners with no repercussions. And that is mutually exclusive of their acceptance by the people. We will never accept them motherfuckers. Never. Long as you hewing wood and carrying water for white supremacy, stay your black ass the fuck over there. We don't want you. More importantly, we don't need you. You're a hindrance at best and an enemy at worst. But they never get around to that, fam. They never get around to asking themselves that all-important question. Is it me? So they'll come on social media crying as if we the problem. Don't worry. Don't y'all worry about Amanda Seales, fam. That epiphany and the cognitive dissonance that she's experiencing right now, that'll last for about 2 hot minutes. Then she'll be back to shitting on black people and fighting for white people's interests next week. She'll be all right. She just need a timeout. Right? She just need to go lay down. She'll be all right. Don't get it twisted, fam. Because her and those type of people are incapable of self-reflection. Self-reflection highlights the hatred, the fear, the concerns, the worry that they have of ever being associated with our tribe. Because it was that drove them away from us in the first place. The shame. Man, I don't want to be them niggas. Why not? She ain't the only one. Some of the motherfuckers y'all love a whole lot is the same way. Chris Rock get on TV talking about what's the ask. Chris Rock, ADOS 101, contract with Black America. There's a whole host of asks. You sorry son of a bitch. But I forget. Chris Rock love black people, but he hate niggas. He got a pass for that shit. We joke. We crack that joke even now with each other, never realizing the level of hatred that joke displays, the level of anti-blackness that joke displays. And that level of self-hatred, that level of anti-blackness precludes any possibility of self-reflection. So these bootlicks will never get around to asking themselves why it is that they aren't accepted by the people. They won't ever say, could it be me? Could it be something I'm doing? Because that would require them to believe that they might be wrong in their worldview. It would require a paradigm shift that they, by the very choices that they have made, block themselves off from ever being a part of. So don't y'all worry about Amanda Seales. She'll get a pat on her head from some white ally somewhere, or she'll get jeffed up, bigged up by some fellow bootlick, and she'll be right back on the motherfucking train. She ain't learned nothing. It don't hurt enough yet. That's our job. That's our job, to make it hurt. To make being them as painful as we possibly fucking can. That's right. Amanda Seales shouldn't even be able to show her face among black society. Mark Lamont Hill should be shouted down every time he think to open his motherfucking mouth. Michael Eric Dyson's books should be dragged out of the motherfucking bookstores and burnt in front of them bitches. See, fam, we don't go hard enough. Not yet. We don't go hard enough yet. Gotta call. Let's do this. Caller from 860. It's your man, Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Oh man, it's your bro, Ro, man.
What's good, fam? What's good? I know you've been waiting to call in.
Yo, I want to apologize to you, first of all. I had your own number.
Oh, it's all good, fam. Yeah, the new number's up there on the screen. Make sure you write it down, fam, because I want you to have it.
I saw the new number. I saw the new number. I was like, yeah, I got to call in, check up on you, see how you doing.
Yes,
and all
sir.
that jazz.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, yo, this whole situation is crazy. With this whole Trump situation, first things first, Trump is offering stuff to black people. We got to keep that in mind.
Wait, repeat that, fam. There was a little bit of glitch, and I want you to repeat what you just said. Trump is what?
Trump is offering shit to niggas.
Okay.
Let's keep that a buck. I don't see the Democrats are telling us to eat crow, kick rocks. And we voted for him for over 50 goddamn years. So, like, with that being said, like, it needs to be a reality check by these old heads. And I'm going to keep beating the drum on that.
Yeah.
Because you can't trust these old heads right now. Because they keep running to these guys. And we don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Democrats is not for us right now. And it's not for me caping for the people in red. We need to do down ballot or just don't vote at all. One or the other. I don't care. But we need to make a claim in those two orders and let the chips fall how it meant.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Like, I mean, what else do the Democrats got to tell you before you finally get the message? Right now, what black folk look like with the Democrats, we look like that dude in high school that knew he didn't have a shot at pulling that bad one. She done told him no like 10 times. But he think that buying her this one last expensive gift and writing her a love letter is going to finally turn her heart around. We look like that fool.
She about ready to slap some cups on that nigga and put him in jail.
Facts. Facts.
And scream me too while she at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what's about to happen. And in a real sense for us, because if you think for a minute that Jim Crow Joe is about to somehow convert and be completely different for black people, you got another thing coming. Because what we fail to understand, politically speaking, as black folk, that our time to hold Joe Biden accountable for anything is now. Donald Trump is the incumbent. He's currently in office, right? So by default, if we don't do anything, he gets another term. That's 8 years of Donald Trump. And then we're done with him forever. He will never again be elected to even dog catcher in this country after his administration. We know this, okay? But Jim Crow Joe is currently not in power anywhere. You understand me? He has no more hold on any black lives to hurt. The time to hold this man accountable for his crimes against our people is before you give him access to the guns and the butter. Before you empower him again. But this is the time they're telling you.
Like, and And the thing that kills me about this is these old people just like really forget about the crime bill. Like it's overnight. Like, I had so many loved ones that were locked up on some real talk shit.
Real
like,
talk.
I don't understand how mothers and fathers is not looking at that dude sideways right now on some real talk. Every time he talks, knowing that their son and daughters were locked up on some bullshit.
Actually, I know why, fam. I know why. I'm loath to say it because it's gonna hurt the feelings of a whole lot of motherfuckers if I tell the truth on this shit. But I know why.
The same way, I'm gonna point to that Central Park 5 and how they treat them young boys. And you see how those family members treat that young boy. That mentality. And then you look at the reality of the citizens that were around them that was encouraging that bullshit.
Yep.
They didn't have enough courage to stand on their own too. So more and more like Professor Black Truth and all the other great ones before us had said, yo, that generation lacked a lot of freaking courage.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm gonna tell you, fam. I'm just gonna come out and say it. The reason why is as follows. Because our elders didn't like us. They didn't. They was able to be easily convinced by the greater society at large that we were the threat that they were making us out to be. You have to wonder how it was that you were able to convince a whole nation of black people to denigrate an entire generation of black people. The only way you could do that is if they already had denigrated us. Let me explain something to you, fam, if you got a minute. I'm a Generation X.
Oh, I got all the time.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I'm a Generation Xer. All right. I was born in 73. Generation X, if you were black, was a fucked up generation to be born a part of. A lot of our parents, I'm just gonna keep it real, they didn't give a fuck. Like seriously, fam. When you were coming up as an Xer, it was hell. Most times you were left by your goddamn self. And I'm talking about at early ass ages. Because back in the day, there wasn't none of this, oh, we need to watch out for kids and make sure they're okay and shit. No, you were 6 years old, giving a key to your folks' house and told brown the meat so I can cook when I get home.
Latchkey kids.
Exactly. Latchkey kids, fam. And then on top of that, they told us, because we saw through the bullshit of the generations before us, they were telling us to work hard, get an education, put our nose to the grindstone, and we can have everything that white folks have. Well, then we did all of that. We went to school, we got education and all of that, and then we watched as those jobs got farmed overseas to Bangladesh, to Malaysia, to Vietnam. We watched as the entree that they had basically, even during Jim Crow times, the entree of getting a factory job or something like that to be able to start to get some work experience and get a come up. All those jobs were just sent the fuck off. We also came up in a generation when to even get an education started costing more than to buy a house. Our parents' generation, some of them, especially the people in like Cali and shit like that, they went to universities where you could go to school literally for free. You could work a part-time job, fam, and pay for any expenses.
No, I know what and that's crazy that you bringing that up, because I remember back in the day, like a lot of people don't know my background a little bit, and I'll share a little bit something about me, like a little bit of stuff that I come from. Like my old man went to school out in Ohio back in the day, one of the universities,
right?
Technology. He used to tell me back in the day that he used to work at the school and was able to pay off his school while he was studying. And with all the scholarships because of his grades and everything, he didn't really have to pay back as much.
Yep.
And that's some of the realities of that generation.
But wait, check it out, fam. It's even better than that. Because even if you did have to borrow a little money, because we ain't got no wealth, right?
And so your parents can help you out.
But even if you did have to borrow a little money, like let's say you was black before the Xers, you was black and you had to borrow a little money to go to college. you were able to discharge that through bankruptcy. So even if you was able to, even if you had to pay a little money and maybe you wasn't able to get the type of job that would let you pay back your loans, back in the day, you used to be able to discharge student loans through bankruptcy. You know when that ended? That ended under Clinton's administration. That ended.
Also, I want to rewind back to that factory jobs with these unions. I'm going to go back to even, I'll go back to my grandfather. And I used to get in the heated conversations with my grandmother, who's still on this God-green earth right to this day. And I told her, the one thing about the man I respect, but this was the mentality of this whisper generation, that generation.
Yep.
I go to work and I come home. I don't do any politics. I don't do anything to better or improve the race.
Yep.
I just come back home. And I can't agree with that logic.
I feel
because
you.
This is where we're at. Reason why our unions are not cooperating, working for us the way that they ought to.
Fam, they stopped being our unions in our parents' generation. They were the generation that should have been fighting to ensure that the Xers and the millennials and all of them coming up underneath them had an opportunity to jump into those same unions to get a come up. But they took them comfortable ass union jobs at GM, making long green back in the day. Fam, I stayed in a housing project. There was a sister, right? An older sister. She was an adult, right, who got a job working at GM. She was staying in the projects, right? She got a job working at GM. This was a union job. Fam, in the 70s, when I was in the projects, she was making $27 an hour, fam. She went in an instant from having to live in a housing project to being able to afford a house if she want one. How many of them black folk that got those good ass union jobs before they started farming that shit out to Mexico at the maquiladoras and over Malaysia and all that? How many of them fought to keep that same access for my generation to come up? So they abandoned my generation.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Not a damn one.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that I was harping on with my elders about, and they don't want to admit that. They don't want to eat the grit on that. They still want to keep thumbing their eyes at us about this, but it's still your fault. No, you're not giving us any resources to work with.
But I'm going to tell you,
we
fam.
We don't have any economic resources. We don't have any institutions. Our NAACP got hijacked. So,
fam, you absolutely right. But I'm telling all of this to tell you one important fact. My generation was basically abandoned from words say go. Our parents figured they had fought the good fight back in the 60s and the 50s and shit. They finally got some access to be able to live and look like they living like whites. And they said,
they just want interracial access, man.
And they said, fuck it.
I'm not even giving that.
No, for real. I mean, I'm not talking. because I'm not talking about just fucking white people and this, that, and the third. White people and black people in this country been fucking since we been here. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that they finally were able to start to look like that they were living like whites. Now, no, we hadn't closed the racial wealth gap, which meant that any gains that they made were at best tenuous. But they didn't care. As long as they had the window dressing, as long as they could get a new Cadillac every couple of years, as long as they were able to do this, that, and the third and look like they was living like white folks, that was enough for our parents' generation. And they left the whole generation of black people out in the motherfucking cold. They abandoned us from jump. So then, when we grew up, when we stopped being children, when we became young adults, all the jobs that we would normally have access to be our entree into a lower middle class to middle class lifestyle had already been farmed out with globalization, right? So they shut all that shit down. So now you got a whole generation of black folk in the hood, some of which, if we lucky, our first job was at McDonald's making minimum wage, right? So we ain't making no money. We don't have no hope of any money on the horizon, even if we get an education, which is now starting to cost thousands of dollars to even do that.
And then on top of that, we won't even have the developmental skills that we need to be successful.
Not only that, fam, but then you had Iran-Contra, and Ronald Reagan allowed the introduction of cheap cocaine into our motherfucking community so that brothers that ain't seen more than $5 in their pocket at a time are now seeing tens of thousands of dollars in their pocket. You think people ain't gonna war to try to preserve that? You think they not gonna fight? You ain't never had shit, ain't never seen shit, never owned shit, and now all of a sudden you able to walk into any car dealership anywhere in the country and slap down cash money on any whip you want to drive out of the money. Of course people are gonna be fighting over that. Of course people are gonna be fighting and killing. And guess what else they did? They not only introduced, fam, when I was a boy, there was gangs when I was a boy, right? But if there was a knife fight between two gangs, that was a big deal. Like seriously, if there was a knife fight between a group of cats, that was huge. And if somebody died in a fight between two gangs, holy shit, it turned both neighborhoods upside down. They were like, what? These niggas out here wilding like that? And fast forward to the 80s when I'm coming up, and all of a sudden, we flooded with this new drug that anybody you could go out and hustle at a cheap ass minimum wage job for a week and go cop enough dope to be able to bust that off, go back to the dope man, re-up a couple of times, and in 6 months be sitting on tens of thousands of dollars from nothing. And then on top of that, crates of guns is just finding their way into the community strangely enough. Brothers who couldn't even afford to buy a motherfucking Atari is now able to get their hands on AK-47s. And it was all the government's doing, right? But our parents already looked at us like we wasn't shit because they didn't never think we was gonna be shit anyway. They told us we was a bunch of fucking slackers. They called the Xers the slacker generation, fam. They told us we were never gonna be shit. So you set us up for failure by not investing anything into us from the time we little ones all the way up to the time we starting to become adults. On top of that, the government flooding our community with drugs and guns.
And the one thing, and the thing that they keep beating during that time frame is education.
What good was the education if white folks wasn't gonna hire you for the jobs that stayed in America? The jobs that stayed in America, these finance jobs, these engineering jobs, and all of these other jobs that don't require people to be on like factory lines and shit like that. America's still America. America gave them jobs to white folks. They wasn't gonna hire no. Look, fam, do you want to talk about how crazy shit was back in the 80s and the 90s? Remember the Challenger explosion? That brother Ronald, who was the mission specialist, was one of like 3 astronauts that were black in all of NASA. All the rest of them was Asians and white folks. All the real like major jobs, all the real good jobs was not going to be going offshore. The white folks was going to get those jobs first. So what you look like now spending thousands of dollars on an education, knowing that when you go into the motherfucking interview, if it's a white anything in there interviewing, you ass out. You ass out. So then when the 90s hit, and now we all growing up, right? I turned 18 in 92, right? I was still a teen through the like a teenager through the 80s, the late 80s, and the early 90s, I was becoming a man, right? By this time, crack had decimated my group. Brothers I went to school with, no lie, before we even got out of high school was already doing football numbers, doing all day in the joint on murders, on drug beefs, on all of this shit. Fam, my generation was so fucked up that on my 21st birthday, you know how most motherfuckers go out and party on their 21st birthday, right? They go out and kick it, like I'm grown now, nigga, I can drink, so they gonna kick it. On my 21st birthday, fam, I sat at home and stared at the wall, and I just kept rocking back and forth in this fucked up nervous action, wondering how I made it to 21 and I was still alive.
Wow.
I'm serious, fam. That's how heinous the shit was for us. So then, when our generation grew up and we said we don't want it to be like this no more, we don't want our children, because now we old enough to have babies. We don't want our babies to go through the same fuckery that we've been going through now for almost 2 decades. We want to change. We want protection. We need help. We struggling. Jim Crow Joe Biden did the equivalent of us calling the cops for help, and they showed up and shot us in the motherfucking head. And you know what? All of the motherfucking elders that was before us co-signed that shit. They wasn't tricked. They wasn't convinced. They wasn't bamboozled. They always knew we wasn't gonna be shit no way in their eyes. That's the only way you could convince a whole group of black people to basically allow a whole generation of black people to be locked up in prison, to be fucked up, to be put into the grave. The only way you could do that is if that group of people already had canceled you from word fucking say go. I'm telling you, fam, they will never fucking admit it.
That's very interesting. I can't just go on this part about my personal life, but there's something that's tending towards that. When it comes to how black people treat our children, and especially when we locking them up and all this other nonsense, is that sometimes as adults, mothers do exactly what we say, that they're problematic.
Yep.
And I feel like that right there is problematic.
You damn right it is.
Realistic to the nature of a child.
Yep. It's absolutely problematic. But you know what though? Why is it a surprise? Black folk feel like they go out and have to deal with white folks all day long and they bullshit. What do they hear what do the kids hear when they come home? I done had to put up with shit off these white folks, off these crackers all day. I'll be damned if I put up with any disrespect from you and they come down on you like a ton of bricks simply for just being a fucking person, just for simply having a mind and using it. But then we wonder why black people are seen as anti-intellectual, why they will trot out Cardi B, they'll trot out Common instead of trotting out Sandy Darity, trotting out Dark Hamilton, you know what I'm saying, trotting out scholars to us to discuss our issues, because they figure we like we're childlike, that we don't have the wherewithal, the capability to reason out shit, to put our emotions to the side and actually discuss shit in a meaningful manner. That's why they continue to disrespect us the way they do, because they know how we raised. They know how we're being told to follow orders, to not think for yourself, to not have any fucking idea outside of the status quo. Period. And the scholars we get go to maintain the white status quo because they get no elevation unless they're willing to do that. Think about this. Our brother Dr. Curry, Dr. Tommy Curry, a PhD philosopher, by the way, smart, intelligent, wise brother, got ran the fuck up out of the country because he had the temerity, the goddamn gall to suggest that black men actually have no power under a white patriarchy, and that to blame us for the problems that exist for black women is a losing proposition. That man had to leave. He's now in the University of Edinburgh to maintain his career. He got ran out of University of Texas.
Okay, and that's funny that you bringing that up. I'm sorry, I'm getting the feedback. But I wanted to get on to you about that because of the last show. On anything, right? Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. Let's do it all. Women, man. Like, Jamel, and I know there's a difference between a black celebrity woman and the average black woman, but are we that far estranged politically?
No. We're not.
Like, we're that polar.
Nope. It's
So
gay.
why does it seem like? Why is the illusion seem like that on Twitter?
Okay,
Especially with
I'll
these
tell you why, fam. Because these people, that's how they make their bread and butter. They have to create the concept of conflict in order to drive controversy, right? And you know how you know that that's the case? Because look at how many of them motherfuckers got their panties in a bunch when CNN interviewed those sisters down there in Georgia who was like, Biden ain't really gave me no reason to vote for him. Remember that video of those three sisters down in Georgia? Remember, fam, earlier in the primary season and this, that, and the third, they was talking about, black women gonna save America and vote like a black woman and this, that, and the third. They was all G with that shit until black women start asking questions about Joe Biden. Until black women said, wait a minute, I got uncles and cousins. My daddy is doing all day in the joint because of Jim Crow Joe Biden. What the fuck we look like voting for him? Until black women started asking questions, now it's, they're uneducated. They can't see. They young. They don't know enough. They wasn't even born when Joe Biden passed the crime bill and this, that, and the third. So it's vote like a black woman as long as black women vote like white women liberals. But the moment black women have an opinion of their own, who actually look at policies, substance, that actually look at who a motherfucker is and what's his legacy. The moment you start doing that, all of a sudden their little white liberal friends was like, what is this? Turning their nose up. And they whole shtick, all of these bootlicks like Brittany Cooper and all the rest of them, they whole shtick is getting paid from white liberals who pretend to be guilty about racism. So they got to keep their white liberal handlers happy. They got to keep them feeling like, nobody really supports Trump. It's a conflict. It's not a tried and true thing. These people are aberrations. No, they're not. No, they're not, fam. Don't ever let them fool you with the smoke and mirrors that there's a divide between the average everyday sister and us as black men. There isn't.
And that's one thing, and that's one, like, the one thing is, like, the reason why I'm saying, and I feel that way, is because I interact with a lot of black women. I work with a lot of black women. Because, like, on certain things, when it comes to civic activities and stuff, they're more active than the black men at this time frame.
Yep.
Half of it is because of history and other things.
Hold on a second, fam.
With that.
Black leaders didn't want to fight the intentional malignant neglect from Democrats. So they supported the crime bills. They were self-hating cowards.
Absolutely, Tajin. Thank you for the love, sister. Go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
Fact. No. Respect to that. In fact. Yeah, I definitely co-sign that too. I definitely. Thank you. But yeah, but with that being said, like with the whole civic thing, is that a lot of black men were shut out of that situation. Those are big. Those are where you build your leaders. This is where you build, this is where you build your leaders. This is where you build your politicians.
But you know what, brother? That's by design too. That's by design too. We already know. If you go back and look at the Moynihan report done back during LBJ's administration, I believe I think the Moynihan report was back during LBJ, right? They were looking at black society to see why it is, other than racism and all that other shit, which they knew about. Why is black society where it is? And the one thing that they came up with, which to this day, sisters still rebel against, is the fact that black society, for the most part, is female-headed and led. Now, I'm not arguing for necessarily a black patriarchy. I don't think we need the pendulum to swing all the way the other way. But what I will say is this. The elevation of the black woman's voice over the black man is by design. White people understood, especially white women, who are the greatest beneficiaries of racism, white supremacy of anybody. Everybody want to attack the white man. Yeah, rightfully so. But white women are the greatest beneficiaries of racism, period. Second to none. right? When the feminists saw the black men get the vote with the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, one of their arguments was that if you give black men the vote, they're going to be in power over us as white women. Let us help you to maintain white domination, because with the black men having the vote and the white women not having the vote, white supremacy is going to come to an end. And they were right, of course, right? It wasn't like if we were empowered as black people to make sure that we voted ourselves access to resources, that we voted ourselves access to education, that we voted ourselves access to shit, that we was going to continue to stay under the thumb of white folks. So what the white women did with feminism is they elevated the black female voice over the black men. So now our communities, black men don't get to go into any organizations and really speak on anything unless a black woman co-signs it. You take your butt to a meeting for the most part as a black man. You're going to go in there and you're going to see a bunch of sisters. No shade, right? This is just factuals. You're going to go in there and see a bunch of sisters. Them sisters are going to be gabbing. They're going to do their thing, They're going to chop it up. They're going to put different shit up on the table, so on and so forth. Long as you quiet, you welcome. Inevitably, you're going to open your mouth to say something. And every sister in that room is going to look at you like you a bug on a windshield. They don't want to hear a fucking thing. They don't want to hear a fucking thing you got to say. This ain't your place, nigga. We got this. We don't need no man up in here trying to tell us how to organize this shit, how to run shit.
No, but the thing is, like some black men are not even in that aspect. Like when I work in those type of dynamics and stuff like that, I do see I do have certain things I don't agree with. Like, it is so hard because I feel like the only way I could conquer on some of those issues is putting things in the context of the black family. Period. If we stay on that context, then things will work out good.
I agree.
When the day that we keep our ball off of that is the day we have issues, even more bigger issues.
Yep, I agree. But we're already at a place where that shit is killing us. Let's keep it full as well. The elevation of one voice of black people over another one is killing all of us. It's destruction of families, it's destruction of communities, and it's the destruction of our tribe. And I'm not saying that the answer is to shut women up and not let them say shit. No, the answer is that we need to create the space for black men's voices to be heard, because we have a different perspective, a different dynamic on how we want to deal with this shit. We're not back on the plantation where you had to beat that little knucklehead nigga to stop Massa from beating him, right? Nowadays, we need our warriors. We need knucklehead niggas to be able to stand up, especially if they can think, right? We need them to be able to stand up and start marshaling our community's resources and planning shit. And we need both of us to be involved. We need both women, black women, and black men involved. If black women are given the primacy of place in the larger society for a voice, they need to be including the brothers in. And to the extent they do not, their inclusion in the voices of dominant society is a detriment to us all, because they will be used as the means by which to justify our social death as black men, as a prelude to our physical demise as black men, as Dr. Curry discussed in The Man Not. They have to kill our person first. They have to kill our personhood first before they can kill us.
And one thing is, like, people need and then I got from my men, shout out to like authority, and when he said, men are willing to dissolve secrets to a woman before they dissolve it to a man, because they're thinking that a woman will never actually do it, but a man will. So people need to keep that in mind, especially our black women, especially when they travel in those type of circles.
Yeah. Fam, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, but I appreciate you finally getting a chance to call in. I know you was eager, man. This was a great call. I appreciate you, fam.
Yeah, peace. I'll definitely send some donations.
Yes, sir, brother. I appreciate that, man. Peace. I want to address Sister Strongflower's comment, scapegoating feminism. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jacqueline. I'm not certain what that was, and I apologize. I know the call quality wasn't great there, and I do apologize. I'm not gonna take another call right now because there's something I want to say really quick to my sister Strongflower. Sister, I'm all for supporting, uplifting, and elevating the black woman. Period. I believe that you have every right that I have, every capability that I have, right? When I talk about feminism, I'm not talking about denigrating sisters at all. And I'm not talking about a diminishing of you at all. What I'm talking about is how white feminism, white liberal feminism has been used as a bludgeon to separate us and keep us at each other's throat. Look, if it's okay for people to openly say out their mouth that the black man is nothing more than a mimetic white man, right? In other words, we just black men who want to be white men. Then how is it so beyond the pale to say that if that's the case, right? So for the sake of argument, let's grant the premise that somehow the dangerous part of black men is that black men want to be white men and they just haven't been elevated to that spot. Then how much more dangerous is it then that black feminism is nothing more than a duplication of white feminism? In other words, that they want to act like white women. They want to be white women. And they actually have been elevated to a place where that's almost possible. Not quite, but almost. To the extent that they're willing to be used by the greater society at large. Black women have a level of flexibility of movement that past generations would have only dreamed about. And that only came through their connection, their willingness to adhere to white liberal feminist teachings, dogma, doctrines, so on and so forth. So I'm not shitting on black women being elevated to their rightful place. But you can't elevate the black woman to her rightful place and leave the black man in the dust. How's that supposed to work? The only way that happens is through feminism as adhered to by white liberal women. They played y'all, basically. I'm not saying y'all horrible or anything like that. I know too many good ass black women. But y'all got played on that feminist shit. And it's okay to admit you got played. And it's okay also to admit that nobody's using any logic here, because if black men want to be white men and it's black women that raise black men, then what does that say about black women and their desire to be white as well? See, that's a whole nother topic nobody wants to address. It's okay to make black men mimetic white men, right? That's acceptable because the punch down at black men is the great American pastime, all right? So it's acceptable to slander us and to say that we ain't people of our own with our own lived experience, our own understanding of how the world operates and how it works. We just disaffected white men. It's okay to say that about us. But if we are that, and it's black women that raise us, then what do black women want to be? It's simple logic. If that's slander, because this is why I'm against it. Not necessarily because it's slanderous against black men, but if that is true, if what they say about black men wanting to be basically they're disaffected, outcasted white men mentally, that's not slanderous just to me as a black man. It's slanderous to you as black women. I never understood how that wasn't grasped. It's okay to call us the white men of black people, right? But if we're white men and black women raise us, what does that make black women? That was like back in the day when you was at school and you was dating a dude and you called him stupid, and he was dumb, and he was stupid, and I don't know why I ever liked him anyway. And your homegirls was like, well, wait a minute, you dating a nigga. So if he dumb and he's stupid, what that mean about you? If the black man is nothing more than a white man who ain't had his chance to white man it up yet, what's that say about you, black woman? When y'all gonna realize how much of a diss feminism and its analysis of black men isn't just to black men, it's slanderous as fuck to us. But it's low-key just absolute shade to y'all. Nobody's disrespecting the black woman's right to be elevated, to be uplifted, to be supported, to be protected. I know I'm not. But we get told that we supposed to be like white men, but y'all never accused of wanting to be like white women. I wonder why. Maybe it's because y'all already acting or playing the role as feminists. They don't have to worry about you acting like white women. You already are acting like white women by adopting their liberal feminist teachings and ideas and shit. They don't have to worry about you. I'm just saying. Nothing about the lived experience of black men in this country says anything that we are patriarchs, disaffected white men who ain't had our shot to white man it up. Nothing about our real experience. Even the experience you sisters see us have belies the whole concept that we have any degree of any actual power in this society. Yet anybody can come from anywhere, from academia, from entertainment, from the media, and just say whatever the fuck they want about black men. Everybody co-signs it. That's why that whole black blame hashtag was funny as hell. Because you let America tell it the black man's to blame for every motherfucking thing. How'd that work out? That's a problem, Strong Flower. That feminism isn't about men. It should be. I'm keeping it a full ass buck. You want to talk about the major problem with feminism? That's the problem. It should be about men too. See, as a sister, Strong Flower, you say feminism ain't about men. It's about the women. It's about the sisters. Blah, 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 blah. Right? But in academia, your white liberal counterparts are too busy trying to tell us that no. It's about equality amongst the sexes, amongst the genders. Which one of y'all right? Which one of y'all right? Because y'all both can't be right. Either feminism is just another word for equality or egalitarianism, which I support 100%. I support any woman having the right to live her life and to do anything within her capabilities that a man can do. I support that 100%, and vice versa. I support equal rights. I support equal responsibilities. I'm completely egalitarian. If a woman could be a soldier, hats off to her. She should go as far as her abilities can take her. But now, if feminism ain't inclusive of men, then how the fuck you expect us to back it? I'm supposed to be here to fight against tyrants, only to elevate a new set of tyrants. I'm supposed to eliminate one oppressor, only to elevate a new oppressor. Doesn't make sense. And no black man is ever going to go for that. No, man, scratch that. No man is going to go for that. I'm not going to fight white supremacists and then be dominated by women in general. I don't want to be dominated by anybody. Let a nigga breathe. I don't want to dominate you, and I don't want you to dominate me. I want a partnership. I want you to bring your best capabilities to the table. I want to bring my best capabilities to the table, and I want us to go for broke. With full liberty, full acceptance of the differences as well as the commonalities that we share. If feminism ain't calling for that, then fuck feminism. Sisters get fed one line of bull that turns them against their men, but then white feminists go to the UN and give speeches talking about the best thing that men can do is support feminism because it's about equality amongst the sexes. Which one of y'all right? Because both of y'all can't be right. Is feminism about ensuring that we put our focus on ensuring that women have access to the same opportunities, the same responsibilities, but the same freedoms as they think that men have? Because if so, I support it 100%. If it's anything else other than that, I will never fucking support it. And to ask a black man to do that, to ask any man to do that, it's like asking us to be angels. And it ties right back into that whole thing that black men have to be nicer, kinder, better humans than everybody else just to be considered human. We can't be like regular people, right? Black men have to be angels in order to be treated like people. Even by sometimes, not all, but sometimes our own sisters. Why should I as a black man have to argue with you to get you to defend yourself against the slander that is directed not just at me, but at you? Because anything that white America says about me, they're saying about you because you make me. I was raised by a mother. I was born to a woman. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Anything that this society says about men, about black men, they're saying about black women. Any slander they direct at me, they're directing at you because you make me. You meant me. You literally make me. Mama is the name for God on the hearts and the lips of children. I've seen 7-foot tall Negroes, grown as fuck, get they come up, and the first person they thank after God is mama. Y'all know what it is. I don't understand. No, we're not scared. We're not scared about matriarchy. Not at all. We're not scared at all about matriarchy. We're going to fight matriarchy. Why? Because if patriarchy is bad, matriarchy is not better. I happen to speak English very well. Patriarchy is ruled by the fathers. Matriarchy is ruled by the mothers. If patriarchy is bad, then matriarchy is not better. The opposite of patriarchy isn't matriarchy. The opposite of patriarchy is liberation. It's freedom. I'm not scared of matriarchy. I'm going to fight against matriarchy, especially white matriarchy, just like I'm going to fight against white patriarchy. It does. Fight ending patriarchy doesn't scare me. I'm not afraid of that shit. I don't want to be dominated. I don't want to be ruled by anyone. I'm a grown ass man. Fuck the archies. I don't want a patriarchy or a matriarchy. I want a partnership. Or is that too much to motherfucking ask for? Let them white folks argue over which one of them dominate their household. That's their business. I couldn't give less of a fuck about what they doing in the confines of their household. Black folk been dominated enough. The descendants of the enslaved have been dominated enough. I do not want to be your oppressor, sister. Nor will I tolerate you being mine. Let them fight over patriarchy and matriarchy and catarchy and all that other goddamn shit. We don't need no archies in our house. We don't need no hierarchies. What we need is partnerships. Thank you, Sister Sherry. I'm supposed to be your salvation and you're supposed to be mine. We the savior we've been waiting for. We don't need to have no debates on who rules this and who's running this, that, and the third. Ain't neither one of us running shit under white supremacy. Us sitting here arguing with each other about patriarchy and matriarchy as black people, it's like two motherfuckers arguing over which one got the better view on the cell block. Both of you niggas is still locked up. But y'all arguing over who got the best spot on the tier. Please. How about we stop? How about we fight to not be locked up? How about we fight to get free? How about we fight to escape, to break camp from this motherfucker? How about that? Fuck the archies. All that old bullshit. I don't want no matriarchy. I don't want no patriarchy. That's their business. That's white folks' business. They don't have nothing to do with black folks. The whole patriarchy, feminism, matriarchy argument was just a beef between white women and white men on how they were going to divide the spoils up of our domination. And we look stupid as fuck arguing over any of that. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Yep, Sister Taj, you spot on, sis. Every black baby that's born in the confines of the United States of America is a child of the impossible. It's a privilege that every generation it seemed like we gotta fucking fight for. White women can have 19 motherfucking babies and be praised by the goddamn community. Or black women have 19 kids and everybody talking about where that bitch's baby daddy's at taking care of them seeds. A white man can have 3, 4, 5 baby mamas and run off from all of them and he's just white. A black man do that, he's indicative of every black man in the entire goddamn race. Caller from 216, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Hey, Mark Black, this is the cool man here. How are
what
you?
Up, the cool man? How you doing, brother, man? I'm glad to hear from you, fam. The floor is yours.
Hey, man, I'm just laying back in the cut, man. You're a superstar, man. You breaking it all the way down, man.
Fam,
you know,
I'm just calling it like I see it, fam. You know me, I ain't nobody.
I
ain't nobody. I'm just your brother that loves you and calls it like I see it, fam.
Hey, you know, because the conversation you're having just kind of harkened me back to when I was in college not too long ago. Mm-hmm. And, I was taking some graduate classes. And, one of the PhD students, they're telling me, how as a black man, I have all this privilege in society. And she's going to give me a list about all the things that I can do that she can't do. And, I mean, I didn't look at the list. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm looking around here at the university, and I'm saying, y'all outnumber the brothers 10-1 around here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Y'all getting y'all paper, you know what I'm saying, easier for you guys to get a job. I'm not trying to, make a competition thing.
Right. No, you just stating facts.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, you spilling out all this stuff about how hard it is. Most of my opportunities are basically on the street. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can use, your feminine charms and, you know what I'm saying, to get some things done. A black man on this campus, he better be real nice and sweet, you know what I'm saying, just to stay on the camera.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
I mean, he better not offend nobody. I'm talking about he better not say anything that is not completely PC. Meaning, if somebody come in and says, "Oh no, my pronouns are her, he, you know, her, them," he better say that shit. Like, he better not once deviate from the party line at all if he wants to get anything done.
Because you know what's going to happen, Mark? She's going to tell her friends going to tell the secretary, it's going to get around about, oh, this Negro thinks he all that, he ain't going to help him out with anything, and you won't be getting any help, you know what I'm saying, from the people that you need to get it at the university.
Absolutely. Tenure, you can hang it up. Any type of tenure, fuck you ass out. And that's if you misstep once.
Yep.
Once.
And you could put, yep. So I'm like, what is this really all about? You know, and I just kind of feel like deep down, a lot of these sisters, man, I mean, I think a lot of them really are attracted to the power that white men have to a certain degree. They don't want to really talk about it. But and I say that the people, the black who are feminists, these are like, I would say less than 10% of black women. So let me just qualify
facts
what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely not all sisters. Like the arch feminists, you know, the ones that are bought in whole hog to the rhetoric is a minority. But the problem is that in this society, a minority that benefits the dominant society will get elevation, right? So like people can say, well, Donald Trump's followers, the Trumpists, right, the COVIDiots are a minority in American society, right? But being a Trumpist, being a COVIDiot benefits the rich. The rich have made trillions since the pandemic, right? Everybody else then took a fucking. So they're going to elevate those voices because it benefits the greater society at large. It benefits white supremacy, right? So this is why we always say, fam, and I know you feel the same way, we got to be careful when the dominant society or white supremacy or whatever you want to call it elevates certain voices.
I'm sorry, what was that you said?
I was just saying, fam, that we have to look carefully. We have to be discerning, mindful when the society at large elevates certain voices, because we know historically they don't elevate voices that ever are to our collective benefit, both black men and black women, right? They're not going to elevate a voice of reason amongst our people, right? In other words, a brother, a sister, or a group of brothers and sisters out there that's arguing to say, hey, patriarchy, matriarchy, those are both systems that fuck with white folks. We got our own thing. We can organize our families in a way that works for us, where nobody's getting domineered. Nobody has to be worried about who's the boss of this or the boss of that, where we partner up and we work together. A voice like that will never get elevated in the main society at large, because that serves us. It doesn't serve the society at large.
No, I agree. And my thought also goes back to like some of the male professors that I encountered. They were like if you said anything against black feminism or feminism, you know what I'm saying, it's crickets. It's like they don't want to step on any toes. They don't want to say anything. I'm like, where, you know what I'm saying? Here you all are professors, and your main trade is to argue things, and you know what I'm saying, you don't even want to take on some of these, fallacious contentions, you know what I'm saying, that are toxic. They can't. They know what side they bread is butter on, right? You sitting there in a university where you had to fight your ass off as a black man to get tenure, right? To even be a tenured professor there, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do nothing to jeopardize that. You're not going to rock the boat. You don't have freedom of inquiry. I found it among even those that were tenured, though. It's just like they didn't want to say anything. Yeah. And another thing I'm disappointed in is like I feel like our black intelligentsia has like really done a disservice to the black community. They really haven't done a service at all. I mean, as far as it's like they all get on this. To a man and to a woman, for the most part, they're on the Democratic gravy train. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, you all study this stuff, communism, socialism. You study different governmental systems and everything. And at the end of the day, the best you can talk about is how we all got to go vote for Joe Biden. Stuff like, I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, no thinking black person at this point should pretend that we even have the illusion of choice. Do you understand where I'm coming from? When you put Joe Biden on one side and Donald Trump on the other one, that's not a goddamn choice. That's like a motherfucker walking up to you and saying, okay, check this out. I can either shoot you in the leg or I can shoot you in the motherfucking chest. Which one you want? How is that a choice? I don't want to be shot, right? Like, don't shoot me. You know what I'm saying? Where is that option on the motherfucking table? You dig? Like, you know what I'm saying? Putting up Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. That's not a choice. That's extortion. And then telling me I got to cast my vote for one or the other one of them? Shit. Please. I choose not to be shot.
And you know, I voted for Jill Stein last time,
right?
And you know, and I was talking to a professor. I mean, I'm not in school now. I didn't get my degree. That's a different situation. But I'm talking to him. He's telling me how, well, you know, when you did a vote like that, all you did was you just gave the election over to the Republicans. You know, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, so I'm not supposed to vote for the best person I think for office, or the person I think whose program is going to help the most people, that has reparations and all that. I'm not supposed to do that because I'm supposed to be so afraid of Donald Trump getting in office. Really?
Fam, your job as a black man in this election, and you've been told by your handlers and mine, is to shut the fuck up and vote for Biden.
Yep.
That's your job. They don't want to hear shit else from you. They want you to shake your booty to the polls, and they want you to cast a vote for Jim Crow Joe. They don't care about your concerns. They got 50 million people out here defending the indefensible crime bill. If that crime bill was so motherfucking great, right? If it was worthy of any type of defense, then if it was any good, why ain't we got more of it? Why ain't we locking up these goddamn opioid addicts left and right? Why ain't we locking up these meth heads left and right? Why ain't we giving people 100 to 1 sentences for trafficking OxyContin like we was for crack? Right? If it was such a good bill, right? If it was such a good thing for America, then why ain't we asking for more of it?
I agree.
Why was it good? Why was it good for us, the Negro, right? The descendants of the enslaved in the United States, but it's not good enough for America as a whole. Make that shit make sense. If you could defend it in the use of it against us, then it should be able to be defended in the use of it against all Americans. I say that if we're not going to make Jim Crow Joe be accountable for this shitty ass bill, then I say we have more of it. Start locking up these motherfuckers in Ohio that's ODing left and right. Don't have these safe needle spots where they can shoot up and be safe and be all right and not have to worry about getting busted by the cops and fucked over and this, that, and the third. Start locking they motherfucking ass up like you do us. Right? Bust these motherfucking meth houses and give them 100 to 1 sentences for crystal methamphetamines. Start busting these motherfuckers trafficking heroin and OxyContin and give them 100 to 1 sentences. If it was good enough for us, it's good enough for them, ain't it?
Couldn't agree with you more, Mark. Couldn't agree. It's just more hypocrisy. That's all it is.
You damn right it is. That bitch Joy Reid got her nerve to be sitting up there arguing that this is somehow defensible. Especially in light of all the facts that we've now come to understand about that time. And especially with the fact that we know that crack cocaine's introduction was introduced in America at the hands by the CIA. Shout out to Rick Ross. Shout out to Gary Webb, right? We know that the government let them traffic that shit into our community. We know that the government put the weapons into our community that made it possible for these brothers who didn't even have knives to have knife fights before, to have all our fucking street wars in our communities. We know that now. How are you going to defend that lousy? And it wasn't just the crime bill of 94. People are fucked up if they think that that's the only crime bill we're talking about. Because the crime bill of 84, the crime bill of 87, the crime bill of 89, and the crime bill of 94 all had Jim Crow Joe Biden's name on it. He just wasn't the author of one crime bill. He was the author of 4 of them motherfuckers.
I had only heard of 2, but it's 4. Okay.
And we supposed to vote for him. Him. Of all, look, fam, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think the Democrats put up any candidate worth my vote. Right? Truth be told. Okay? But they literally had an opportunity to pick anybody to run against Donald Trump. And they picked the absolute worst candidate for black people. The absolute worst.
Don't forget the chaser Kamala Harris and her background as well.
Oh, facts. You want to talk about just the absolute lack of respect of anything black in this country? This motherfucker, every time he's had black lives in his hands, he's destroyed them. And the one person he picks as his running mate is a motherfucker who built her whole career around destroying those same black lives. You couldn't have planned this any better. If you were writing a horror story, a black horror story, you couldn't have picked a better premise than to have black people forced by political gunpoint to vote for a motherfucker who not only has destroyed a generation of lives of theirs, but his running mate is somebody who took up the mantle and came right behind him and continued to do the same fucking thing. You couldn't write a scarier horror story.
That's where we are now. I would like to switch gears just a little bit.
Go ahead, fam.
I have a question. The question was about HR 40.
Yeah.
And my question is, like, what happened to this? How was this allowed to die? Like, what was really wrong with it? And why wasn't it something that could be fixed?
I'll tell you what was really wrong with it. There's a whole host of issues with HR 40. First
now, before
of all,
you start, though, I thought Dr. Darity had written some amendment proposed.
Yes, he's written some revisions too, which, by the way, could save HR 40 as legislation. I'm keeping it a full-on buck. Dr. Darity's revisions of the legislation would make it viable legislation for us to pursue as a descendant of the enslaved here in the United States, right? As it currently stands, though, it's a no-go. There's a whole host of issues, but the major issue is that it basically allows this commission to be taken over by people who lack specificity as to how reparations should be determined for black people in America, right? Part of the commission that will be organized under the current legislation is to include individuals from groups that have been working, quote unquote, on legislative and other means of redress for reparations. So basically, we're talking about groups like Cobra, NARC, and so on and so forth. And these commissioners will actually be paid by the government at a GS-18 rate. We're talking like $200,000 and some odd $1,000 while they sit on this commission. So it's a grift for them, right? Secondly, we know by looking at NARC and Cobra's stances on reparations that they are trying to generalize reparations to be a general black thing, like a flat black thing, where if you're black from the diaspora or from Africa, but you live here in America, you would qualify under any reparations scheme that they would support. But that's not what we're talking about. When we talk about reparations, we mean specifically the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States of America, not random black folk from everywhere else. Now, understand that I believe that there should be a general black agenda, because there are black folk that have come here from other places that have been collateral damage to the damage done to us, right? They've been collateral damage in the War of America versus the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States.
But now, can you? I feel like you may be right about that, but I would like to see that. I would like to see that quantified.
Oh, agreed. No, I'm right there 100% with you. Like, in other words, a general black agenda would address issues that are faced because America couldn't differentiate you and your people from its enslaved population, and you got caught up in some shit. In other words, I believe that a general black agenda should institute protections to protect us first, right, and foremost, but also to make sure that the bleed over of the attacks on us isn't also affecting people just simply because they have black skin. If that makes sense, you feel me? But I don't believe that they are entitled at all, 0%. to reparations. That belongs to us. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
But in Cobra, NARC, and other groups like it want this blanket Pan-African reparations from America. America don't owe the whole world for injustices committed to anybody with black skin. America owes a specific ethnic demo of American citizens. That is us. And so that problem of that particular aspect of the legislation makes it a non-starter, because if they get a seat on any commission, they're going to make it to where whatever plan that they come up with will not be able to be enforceable in the United States of America. We are a clear class of American citizens, right? But if you make it just about everybody who claims to be black in this country gets a check, and on top of that, Cobra doesn't even support us getting a check. Dr. Dirty has made clear that any pure reparations scheme has to include, as a predominant majority amount of the funds allocated to it, direct payments to the descendants of the enslaved in the United States. Cobra wants to set up a commission that basically has control over the funds and determines how they're dispersed for black people. No, that's not reparations, fam.
No. But let me say this: how is Cobra's been around for a while? You know, how can we ever, if this is one of the impasses, how can we ever move forward on that? Because Cobra's always going to try to be a part of any reparations activity.
It's simple. We either give them the option to come and join us, or we defeat them. We just simply run them out. We need to be louder. We need to be bolder. We need to be braver. We need to be the ones in their face. In other words, we're going to have to fight them. And I don't necessarily mean fisticuffs or anything like that, fam. But what I'm saying is that at this particular point, we, the descendants of the enslaved in the United States, don't need no milquetoast advocates. We don't need nobody who wants to go along to get along. We need to understand clearly who our opposition is. And we need to go into this with the willingness to either get them on board with what it is that we're trying to do, or we need to push them out of the public sphere. We need to make it to where they can't show their faces anymore. Now, there's a whole myriad and host of ways we can do that. And that's for a topic for another discussion, right? But that's essentially what has to be done. If we want this spot, if we want our understanding of how reparations is to be done to be the understanding, we're going to have to fight for it. And we're going to have to go up against some big names too, because Cobra and them, while they have done literally jack shit in the area of reparations for the last 30 years, what they have done is engaged in meetings, luncheons, and so on and so forth with some pretty big names like Sheila Jackson Lee, the sponsor of the legislation and all that shit. So we got some people that we really gonna have to fight. in order to be able to push forward this legislation in any meaningful way. And if we're unable to get these revisions applied to HR 40, we need to be willing to kill it. We need to be willing to fight to kill it. If we if we can't get these changes made, we need to be loud as fuck to ensure that it does not even hit the floor for a vote.
But I guess one of my questions is how do we get to the point? I mean, because that bill's been around for over a year now. How do we get to the point where none of this is being addressed and we're 2 weeks from voting, for President of the United States and Congressman and all that? How does that happen?
Well, we do have an entree currently that's happening, strangely enough, through the recent kerfluffle with Ice Cube. Ice Cube been getting banged on by everybody, right? Because he had the nerve to actually have any type of talk with Trump, right? But Ice Cube has been standing on his square, and we've been coming at Sheila Jackson Lee for months now with no response. But now Ice Cube has thrown his hat in the ring, and now all of a sudden she wants to talk. So we got an entree. We got a moment right here where we could actually push some real fucking influence. But we better not squander it. That's real talk.
I understand that. I want to ask you this, and then I will let you go.
Okay, brother.
You know that there was a bill that was passed on.
Yes.
California. And as we know, California, states like California, New York, when bills like that are passed, then that becomes a template for a lot of other states.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it looks like on the surface that, okay, this is great progress. But then I heard Tariq Nasheed, he was talking about it, and he talked about how that bill starts talking about like descendants of, or I would say African descendants instead of, it was like it had some broad-based language in there. And so, then it had some language here talking about with special consideration to like the American descendants of slavery or something like, it was like that. It was more like an umbrella type of language that was being used. And so, I would say one of the things I think that maybe you might want to do for one of your programs is to really take a look at that bill and its implications.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I think I can do
that. Because I think that nobody's really. I mean, I've watched a little bit of Tone and Yvette, and now that they haven't talked in great length specifically about the bill.
I want you to understand something, though, fam. Consider your sources, and this is not to shit on Tariq Nasheed. If you're interested in comedy, culture, entertainment, that's his lane. I don't consider Tariq in any way authoritative on anything that has to do with political strategy, understanding this, that, and the third. It's just not his lane. I'm not shitting on the brother. He can make his own little individual comments or whatever the case may be, issue his commentary. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one and some of them stink, right? Tariq is not authoritative when it comes to understanding political movements, action, and this, that, and the third. As a matter of fact, if you remember the whole, and I'm loath to bring it up because I got love for people on whatever acronym, but during the whole, ADOS FBA war, FBA through Tariq tried to make it clear that they wasn't involved in no stinking politics, that for them it was about the culture. So if it's about the culture, then stay in your lane, Tariq. You know what I'm saying? If you about the culture, if you're about entertainment, you're about uplifting the tribe, uplifting the people, then do that. Right? But then again, don't expect to be taken authoritatively when it comes to subjects such as politics, economics, and so on and so forth. That's not your bailiwick. That's not your cup of tea. Right? That's not where you stand. I didn't make him. I didn't make him that way. I'm saying he chose to be that way.
I know what you're saying on that, Mark, but I kind of feel like, sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment. They don't really realize that what they really are, what the enterprise that they're really in, touches so much on politics that you really can't get out of not dealing with it. And also, when it comes to Tariq, from what he was telling, what he was saying, and I heard him say, is that the person who wrote the bill in California, she actually reached out to him, and they had a conversation because I guess he had some concerns about it, and she heard about it, and they had a talk. And so I'm saying that to say that he is intimately involved. Well, I won't say intimately, but he does, end up getting connected with some people who actually were right there on the ground that were pushing that legislation.
It's hearsay, fam. It's hearsay. I'm connected to somebody who's connected to something is not evidence. That's hearsay, right? You wouldn't get any court anywhere in the country to accept testimony because somebody heard it from somebody who was close to somebody who heard it from somebody. It's hearsay.
No. Who he said was, he didn't say that. He said it was the lady she was an intern.
Okay. Again, Tariq wasn't involved in the legislation. Now he can read it okay. I would have more respect for his opinion if Tariq actually took and dedicated an entire broadcast not to selling, more keychains or something like that, right? But to actually pull up on his screen the legislation, read it line by line like I'm want to do, right? Because when I talked about HR 40, that's exactly what I did. I did a 3-hour broadcast talking about HR 40 where we went over it line for line, right? So if Tariq was to do that and then give his interpretation, while I still wouldn't consider it authoritative because I know Tariq, he's not a political animal, I would at least have more respect for it. But Tariq passing off information from somebody who's supposed to be connected that he got the hookup with, I couldn't give a fuck less. Like, I'm just saying, I don't, that's not his lane. He don't know politics like that. And that's not shade to Tariq. He has his bailiwick. He has his area, his lane. His lane ain't politics. He can have his opinions, but his opinion means about the same as yours or mine. He ain't nobody authoritative on this shit. So I'm just saying, fam, before you say, wait, there's problems with the legislation, let's analyze it. I think you brought up a good point. Okay. Let's look at it. I'm willing to do a broadcast where we look at the legislation or whatever the case may be and ask some people about it and stuff like that. I think that a healthy skepticism when it comes to anything for the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States is healthy. I think we should be skeptical, right? But right. I also think that we need to look at things and consider the sources of information when it comes to certain things. I have no problem looking at Tariq for jokes. I enjoy the brother's jokes. He's funny, right? This and the third. I don't depend on Tariq in the least for anything political. That's not his lane. Just a heads up, fam.
And I wasn't trying to say that.
I'm not jumping on you, fam. Trust me. I get you where you're coming from. You and me, we're good, right? I'm not jumping on you. I want you to understand that. I'm just saying, it's more important moving forward that we need to exercise our discernment more than anything else, meaning that we have to consider the sources of shit, right? I would listen to Dr. Claude talk about politics and economics and stuff like that. He's been intimately involved in that shit for years. Even if I may not necessarily agree with some of his stances or positions, I think he speaks authoritatively and his word carries weight on those matters. And I would consider strongly whatever he would say. Right? Because he's Dr. Claude. He's got the track record. Tariq ain't got no track record as a political analyst or specialist or being involved heavily in legislation and things like that. I mean, this man sells Ogun juice. It is what it is. Like, I don't have no hate. That's his lane. You feel me?
Okay, well.
Hey, brother, I appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. You're welcome to call back again anytime, of course.
Absolutely, Mark. I look forward to that program on,
yes, sir.
On the field.
Yes, sir. Love you, fam.
Take care.
Peace. Yeah, great call, fam. And again, I hope y'all understand there ain't no shade like that. I don't take no sides in anybody's personality worship. Right? I don't fuck with anybody's personality worship. If you watch Tariq, hey, have at it, fam. You watch PBA, TBA, PBT, watch them. I got no problem with that. You watch Yvette and Tone, I respect it, right? Whoever your personality is, whoever helping you to cleave to your peoples, to get the message, I'm with it. I just understand that certain people, when it comes to politics and shit like that, ain't the people I need to be listening to. I mean, this man came up with a flag talking about 1527 or some shit. And then he be switching from melanoid shit to, foundational. I mean, That's his business. No shade. But that's not somebody I could fuck with when it comes to understanding or making an analysis of politics. This is not his lane, right? So fam, hey, I want to say thank you to you all. I appreciate everybody who donated via Super Chat. Sister Taj, Brother Jermaine. Or I think that's, bro. Hey, I don't want to disrespect. I just see Jay Jermaine. So I'm assuming, brother. But if I'm wrong, please correct me because I will remember it. HP, Sister Sherry. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate all of you, right? Fam, if Jim Crow Joe Biden gets elected, our fight has only begun. And make sure to understand this. We will be the only ones fighting him. We will be the only ones fighting him. And fight him we must. Every step of the way, we need to be dragging that motherfucker for filth. He gets no passes, no rest. We will not shut up. We will not be silent. We will be in the streets. We will be online. We will be in his ass all 4 years or however long he actually serves with his old ass. And we're going to give President Harris that same motherfucking work. She gets no passes. She gets no rest. Just like everybody's willing to fight Trump, stay willing to fight Biden because we're going to get more of the same if you're the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States. If you're ADOS, if you're FBA, if you're B1, Biden's more of the same. Before I go, there was something that I wanted to share with y'all. I posted a post on Twitter. Let me find it for you. Give me just a second, okay? I thought I had it up, but I'm going to find it for you here. But there's something I want you all to understand. By the way, if you're not following your man on Twitter, at Black Outcast, you fucking up. Just keeping it a full ass buck, right? But I wanted to leave y'all with a message because I want y'all to think about it. This was something that I wrote talking to white liberals, but the message is for us too, right? Here's something that I want y'all to know. Let me go to the teaching screen. I want y'all to understand that why they mad at Trump is because Trump treats everybody in America like they niggas. I said that earlier in this broadcast. And I want y'all to understand something. When Trump said that Biden was the reason why he ran, he was right. And fam, all those people that thought that voting for Joe Biden means we get rid of Trump, you sadly mistaken. Because I can promise you, fam, another Trump's coming. I can promise you that. Another Trump is coming. And this Trump, fam, he ain't going to be like the one we had. This Trump is going to be smooth talking. He's going to say all the right shit, do all the right shit. But he going to drag America kicking and screaming right back to the bullshit. And do you know why? Because America needs to see who they really are. We've been knowing who they are. Let me leave you with this quote from our brother Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. Quote, "First, I must confess that over the past few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is a presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. Who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mystical concept of time, who constantly advised the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection, unquote. Those words are more true today than they ever been. There's all these motherfucking white liberals who say, you know what, black people, you're right, but we can't address your issues now. We got to get Trump out of office. Oh, black people, you're right, but we got to make sure that we vote for Barack Obama, because after 8 years of Shrub, who's it gonna be next? Black people, you're right. I know, but we gotta give President Harris another 4 years so she can do all that stuff that she's been trying to tell you she's gonna do, which she told us to our face. I'm not gonna sit here and do something specifically that's gonna benefit black people now. They want you to keep waiting for a more convenient season to address your issues. Hell no. We don't get justice. Don't nobody get justice. We don't have peace. Don't nobody get peace. We don't have access to resources. Don't nobody get access to resources. Burn this motherfucker down for all I care. Jim Crow Joe Biden does not get a moment of fucking peace. They're not coming to us in 2024 saying, oh, we got to make sure that Tom Cotton doesn't get elected. They're not going to come to me in 2028 talking about, oh, we got to make sure to put AOC in the office. She's going to finally do for you brothers and sisters what y'all been waiting for. Fuck that. There is no more convenient season to do justice for the descendants of the enslaved in the United States than right motherfucking now, than today. There will never be a more convenient season for justice for us that will finally bring peace to America than right fucking now. If you're not talking about right now, Biden, if you're not talking about doing justice for us right now, fuck you if you think you deserve our vote. The time to hold you accountable is before you get control of the guns and the butter, not after. And that goes for AOC, that goes for Ayanna Pressley, that goes for any other pet that y'all currently grooming to throw up in our face in 2024, in 2028. Until you do right by us, until we get our due, fuck every candidate you put forward. I'm not voting for a Democrat for dog catcher, because there ain't no more convenient season to do right by my people than right motherfucking now. Our brother MLK told us, wait rings in the ears of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. The word wait has almost always meant never. We need to understand what the great jurists have always understood, that justice too long delayed is justice denied. We don't have to ask nobody. Our ancestors told us the game plan. The ancestors told us it's time for us to come and get our check. It's time for us to come and get what is due to us. It's time for America to pony up. The debt been running. And the best time, the most convenient season to pay that motherfucker is right now. Fuck the gatekeepers. Fuck the buffer class. Fuck the academians. Fuck all of them. They're about as disconnected from real black life as it comes. They run away from it. But there ain't no more convenient season to do right by us than right now. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is worse than a deep misunderstanding from people of ill will. Martin woke up. He understood that the motherfuckers that was the greatest threat to us wasn't the ones with the guns. They trying to tell us that, hey, Trump is gonna send the motherfucking Proud Boys to kill up all the niggas. The greatest threat to us in the United States of America is them white folks that'll smile in your face and stab you in the back in the ballot booth. Who say, I approve. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with y'all getting y'all's due. But do y'all have to be out there burning shit up? I support justice for black people. But do y'all always got to be protesting and blocking the streets? If justice is mine, if justice is owed to me, you don't get to tell me how the fuck to get justice. Let me say that again to you white liberals who watch this, because I know you do. The ones in the cheap seats. If justice is due me and my people, you don't get to fucking tell us how to get justice. You either get on board with this train or stand the fuck out of the way, because we running everybody over. There will be no more convenient season to wait than right now. So fam, with that, again, thank you all. I appreciate you. Please make sure you smash those thumbs. Share this on your social media. We're going to talk about additional legislation and other than that moving forward. The election is right around the corner. Biden wins or Trump wins, our fight remains the same. It don't matter. Dog shit wins or cow shit wins. Don't matter. We wasn't given a choice. So we're going to do what the fuck we got to do. Love you, fam. As always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.